In this week's Technique Tuesday video, I'll demonstrate a fantastic knot for tying pom-poms that allows you to tighten the knot and then loosen your hold without the knot loosening in response. There are a couple of things that are really helpful when you are tying a knot around the center of a pom-pom. The first one is that you need some kind of a string that is very strong and will withstand really excessive tightening. And the second thing is to have a knot that is not going to loosen while you're creating it. That's one of the toughest things is getting the knot tight enough and getting it to stay tight while you're finishing it so that the pom-pom doesn't fall apart. I'm ready to tie my pom-pom right now. I'm using a specific type of pom-pom maker, but there are lots of ways to make pom-poms, and ultimately they all end with having to tie around the center. So I am using some leftover sock yarn, and I'm using that because, first of all, it's thin, but it's very strong because it has 25% nylon. Some people use dental floss for this task, and I did try this knot with some dental floss, but the dental floss that I have is a very slippery dental floss, and so it's probably not the best to use for this situation. It's probably better to use one that has some friction. You want something that's not too slippery so that your hands have something to grasp onto. I am cutting off a fairly long strand. It's probably 24 inches long, which is about 60 centimeters, I believe. So what I'm going to do is thread one end of this yarn onto a yarn needle. I have one end is just the dangling tail. I only need maybe 6 inches or so dangling down in front. I'm going to hold that in place with my thumb and wrap it around the center of this pom-pom maker. So wrapping it around the waist of the strands. And when these two strands meet in front, I'm going to cross them over. So that the strand that's crossing in front is the strand that is on the needle. And I'm going to put my thumb here so that I can just keep that crossing intersection in place. And then I'm going to wrap the yarn around again. I'm keeping my thumb on that sort of X spot. So now I have the yarn with the needle on it is going to come underneath the dangling tail so that it's looped around like this. And now what I'm going to do is bring this needle under these two strands that are crossed right here. So I'm going to bring my needle under that sort of X that is formed by the two stitches crossing. I want to make sure that the tail that's connected to this needle is still around the dangling tail. And now I'm going to pull it through like this. So now these two are interconnected together, and I can do my first pull right here. And now I can take my pom-pom maker apart. So I've got the wings of my pom-pom maker out, and now I can pull it apart. So I still have these two strands right here, and now they haven't loosened up, and now I can pull it tight again, and I can relax my hands and it doesn't loosen up. I can keep pulling like this, and I can keep relaxing, and the knot doesn't loosen up. This knot is known for being difficult to loosen or even to untie, but if you want to make sure that this knot is secure, you could tie a square knot, but you can be completely relaxed when you're doing this because it's not going to come loose at this time. So I can, at this point, tie my half knot and then my other half knot if I just want to secure it even more. And then from this point, then I just need to trim off the outer part of my pom-pom to make it smooth. And there you have it. Well, that's it for this week's Technique Tuesday video. If you have any comments or questions about today's video or suggestions for videos you'd like to see in the future, you can leave those down in the comments below or join the discussion in my Ravelry group, Rocks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.